The second belief is in the angels. And this is the one where we call it the belief in the unseen, because no one has seen the angel. Their nature, they're creatures of light. They were made out of light. They are invisible to human being, created by Allah, and they have duties to perform. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given duties to some of these angels, and they continue to perform them. For example, Jibril, he's the angel of revelation. He's been tasked to carry out messages between, delivering Allah's message to the prophets and the messengers, including the Quran to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then we have Mikhail, who's the angel for sustenance, provider of sustenance. He's responsible for managing natural phenomena like winds, rains, thunder, and everything, and ensure that the growth of crops, to ensure the creation is nourished. The creation, as in us, everyone, the entire creation in this world. And then we have Israfil, who's the trumpet bearer. He is holding the trumpet, waiting on the signal from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to blow it, and that would signal the end of the world. Azrael, who is also known as Malakul Maut, the angel of death, he's responsible for taking the souls of living beings at their destined time of death. Now, all of this, these are the duties that these specific angels carry out. However, they carry out the duties not by all by themselves. They follow the commands of Allah. They follow the commands of Allah. Why does this matter? Establishing the unseen world is real, and the revelation has came through a trustworthy intermediary, because a lot of people, a lot of non-Muslim actually alleges that, how do you know, as in us Muslims, how do we know that the message, the revelation that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has received, it is actually from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It could have been devil, or it could have been no one, right? So it is important to establish certain principles when we talk about the belief in the unseens, and these principles actually comes out directly from a book of Hazrat Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanvi rahimahullah, in his book called Al-Intibahatul Mufida, which is a very, very classical work of the scholar. And by the way, I should tell you that it took me several rounds of you know uh, uh, several rounds of studies just to understand the book. That is not meant as a discouragement to any of you, of course, but if you want, definitely, you can take a look at it, understand some of the principles. So the main part is the principle. Once you get your head around the principle, the 7 principles that he has listed in the beginning, if you get your head around that, the rest of the chapters are very easy to understand, because everything that he is talking about is all actually based on those principles. So number one principle that he established, which is, if a thing exists, and that's not the number one principle in the book, this is just I'm stating here. If a thing exists, it is not necessary that it must be visible and sensible. A lot of people, and specifically, the modern people, a thing must be, when they say that the thing must be sensible and visible, and only then we will accept its existence. This is an empiricist view. Who is an empiricist? A person who only believes that empirical evidences can prove existence, right? So if you say that this thing exists, the person would say, have you seen it? Is there any evidence of it? And only when there is a physical evidence, empirical evidence, then we will accept its existence. Otherwise, it does not exist. And that's why these moderns, the people who have this modernist view, they reject the belief in the unseen. They say, they have this notion of, oh, no one has seen the angels, no one has seen the devils, right? So why do we believe in it? Why do you have to believe in it? So the principle says, if a thing exists, it is not necessary that it must be sensible and visible. For example, gravity cannot be seen, it cannot be sensed, right? But we know it exists because we have studied the effect of it. We have studied the effect of gravity. Similarly, a past and the future of a person, of the same modernist who says that I am an empiricist, I need empirical evidence, they cannot see their past or future, yet it exists, right? Uh, we don't see electromagnetic force which is wrapped around the earth. We don't see electrons holding it in the orbit, but yet it exists, right? We don't see them, but it exists. So that's how Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanvi Rahimahullah has established this principle that if a thing exists, it doesn't necessarily have to be sensible and visible. It cannot be seen, but it still does exist. The second is, so what we similarly we believe that the existence of angel is rationally possible. So what if we have not seen them, we have not sensed them, but they believe, so it is rationally possible, just like the examples that I've quoted. But then the question is, how do we know that the angel exists? How do we come to know? How did we discover this fact that angels are, there? uh, they exist. The second principle, this is where the second principle comes in, which is, uh, Maulana Thanvi Rahimahullah says, and if a thing is rationally possible, which we've already established that belief in angels is rationally possible, the existence of angel is rationally possible. And if it is rationally possible, and it is attested by a sound report, then it is necessary to accept its existence. I'll say that again. We have already established the fact that believe the angels, it is rationally possible that their existence is rationally possible. And since their existence is rationally possible, then if it is attested by a sound report, then it is necessary to accept its existence. What is a sound report? So the existence of angel is reported to us through mutawatir. What is mutawatir? Mutawatir is essentially, the word mutawatir comes from tawatur, and tawatur is essentially a large group of people, a large group of people saying the same thing. Okay. A large group of people reporting the same thing. And if the group is so big and so huge that it is illogical to believe that all of them are lying on it. Okay, that's mutawatir. So any report that has reached us, it has reached us through mass transmission. How do we believe this mass transmission? Because people in different times, in different places, have said the same thing over and over again. And so many people have said this that it is impossible, it is illogical to believe that all of them in different places, such a big group, were lying about the same thing, right? So that's how we know through mutawatir that angels exist. And since it is rationally possible, and we have the attested sound report, that is the mutawatir report, and so it is important, it is necessary to accept its existence. So it is not blind faith. So if someone says that belief in the angels is blind faith, now you have a rational explanation for them.